Hello and welcome to this very special extra time edition of the podcast. It's just myself, Richard Buckley, and Mr. FUTBIN, Matt Foot Trading for this one. We have released something very, very special over the last couple of days, and there's been a lot of questions, comments. We're here to clear things up regarding the brand new FUTBIN rating. It's been worked on for a very long time, Matt,
Yes.
and we are very, very happy for this to be live and for people to have it in their mouse, in their phone, in their laptop, whatever it may be, whatever they're using, to get on with it and see what is happening over the next, I want to say 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to be talking about everything FUTBIN rating, how it works, some of the FAQs, and just a little bit more information on what, why, and how ratings are made using our formula and what you might expect in the future from the FUTBIN rating. Matt, this is your baby. I'm going to take it over to you. Where would you like to start, sir?
Yeah, I think let's start off just by sort of briefly explaining what it is. Now, I know, sort of like we've had the RPP in recent years and in previous years, and I'll be completely honest, it was quite outdated. So it was the bit on the player pages where you could go and see, Mbappe is a 54 rated centre back and things like that. Now, RPP, rating per position, it did only previously take into account stats. So obviously now we've got play styles, we've got roles. There's so many of these sort of other areas of a player now that RPP wasn't taking into account. So we've wanted to give it a big update for a few years now, ever since play styles were introduced. So we've finally got there, Rich. We're finally there with FUTBIN rating. And we can dive straight into it in terms of, what data FUTBIN rating takes into account. So we've obviously got stats, probably the number one that people will be wanting to know about. Play styles, skill moves, weak foot, height for certain positions only. So centre backs, for example, we're going to be weighting those 6 foot plus centre backs more than those shorter 5'7", 5'8" centre backs that might get dunked on. And then you've got things like accelerate type, your role suitability, all those sort of things. So we will have some more explainers coming out because I know people are going to be asking, why is Pina not the number one rated striker in the game? We'll get into that in a little bit. But all of those questions, hopefully we can answer some of them in this pod, but also there will be some features coming soon.
Yeah, and I think it was super important. Obviously, I've been in conversations here and there, but finding out why certain things are so important, what things aren't necessarily that important in the game as well. There's been a lot of conversation with a lot of different people whose opinions are certainly warranted and credited in the back end of this. And I know that it's taken a very long time to create this formula. I mean, that's the perfect way to describe it, really, on how and why certain things should be shown from different position to different rating and different roles as well in the game. Do you want to show us, I mean, just the blanket, if you were to open it up right now, FUTBIN, and go over to the FUTBIN rating, what is it the first thing people really are going to see when they load it up?
Absolutely. Right, let's share my screen. I'm getting good at this now, Rich. So, right, so as you can see, we are on FUTBIN right now. So, give me a player, Rich. Any player.
Let's go with Ousmane Dembele.
Ousmane Dembele. Okay. So what you can do is, like you always do, search up a player using the search, and you will see sort of pretty quickly here that FUTBIN rating is now down here on the right-hand side next to the stats in the previous position that we used to have RPP. Now, we do still have sort of a similar RPP map. So you'll still be able to go in here, get a snapshot of these different players and different ratings for all of the different roles. But yes, the main thing is this new sort of FUTBIN rating panel where you'll be able to see the new FUTBIN calculated rating for the top 5 roles that player can play in. So we can see here that Ousmane Dembele, his best rating would be as a right wing, inside forward, and we can see that he is ranking as number 3. Which I think, you would argue
right up
Probably
there. Yeah,
he's
one of the
right up
best
there.
players on the game. 900k. Still, like, I think one thing as well, very quickly, price
Yep.
isn't credited into this. It's simply on the data and the stats that we've got. So that I think that's one thing that people will look at and be like, well, Mo Salah is a fifth of the price of Ousmane Dembele. How is he not better?
Mm.
Price of player isn't credited into the FUTBIN rating.
No, and that's a really good point. So, we'll go into, what we can do in some of the filtering options, but there will be an option there where you can go in and filter for the most meta players under 25,000 coins, for example, and best players for Silver Cup or things like that. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of possibilities with this. So we do have some other functionality here that we can discuss. So naturally, chemistry styles will have an impact. Now, right now, we've got it set so you can filter through and see, for example, a Deadeye gives plus 2.2 to his inside forward rating. In the future, we're not going to make it so you have to keep going through and searching individually by each playstyle to see which one is best. We will have something here that will say, right, for this specific role, a hunter is best, a Deadeye is best, a finisher is best. So you will be able to see at a glance which players are best.
And you can already see there as well, just above it, a feature that's already on FUTBIN, the community voted already sort of best chemistry style on the player, but then we'll actually have the data to back up, is the community correct in their assumption on the best chem style for certain players. A question that I think a lot of people will be asking when we're talking about rating and with it being, as we know, Ultimate Team are constantly moving, are constantly changing game. This year, maybe more than any other, with the amount of live tuning and updates we've got. How often will the FUTBIN rating be adjusted? How will it be updated?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, it's not something that we're going to be wanting to adjust every single week because, we understand that people might be making decisions for their team around this. If I'm going and searching for the most meta right wing, I see it's Ousmane Dembele one week, and next week it's Mohamed Salah. I'm going to be a little bit annoyed. So we're going to adjust it when there are major tuning updates. So, these things like we recently had the buff to jockey as a play style, maybe technical as a play style, power shot, for example. So when there are those sort of big meta changes in the game, we will be adjusting obviously the weightings for the play styles, stats accordingly, and we'll communicate that. So you'll see some articles around sort of FUTBIN rating. We might call them the FUTBIN rating pitch notes or something like that, where we'll specifically go through and we'll say significant increase in the weighting of jockey for specific roles, maybe. So yeah, that'll occur when we have sort of these major live tuning updates.
Yeah, and I mean, it is constantly it's something we're going to keep on top of all the time. I mean, last year, what we got a brand new playstyle in like March had added into the game in low driven. So it is going to be, I would imagine, changing not as frequently as maybe the live tuning, but as you said, when there are those major tentpole patches and changes in the game, it will reflect in the FUTBIN rating. Another question that I've got, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to have, when the better players in packs roll around, when we're talking maybe Team of the Year or, for example, I don't know, to take some of the best icons in the game, they're already starting to get up. I mean, Ousmane Dembele there, I think, is 94.4 already.
Yeah.
And he's ranked third, so there'll be the better players than him. Mia Hamm, 97.2 already. What happens when we start to get up towards that 99, 99.5 rating, especially with Team of the Year?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think typically what we see is, these players, they do start featuring less and less in teams as we get the bigger and better items. So our FUTBIN rating will reflect that. So what will happen is when we get those big Team of the Year cards that have more stats, more playstyles, more playstyle plus, more role pluses, better skill moves, better weak foot, etc., those ratings will be at the top end of the rating. So you'll see them coming in at the 99s. Everything else will kind of have to be scaled down a little bit to reflect that. So this Mia Hamm, for example, if a better Mia Hamm comes out that would, at the moment with the current weightings exceed that 99 cap, we'll have to scale her down a bit. So there will be as the year goes on, you'll see this Mia Hamm start to drop down a little bit. It might be and 97 to 96 to 95. If there's a big increase, maybe it drops down a little bit more to like a 92. So you will start seeing over time these cards start to drop down. I think that's, would we say, Rich, is what kind of happens anyway?
Yeah.
You know, these players, they do start featuring less in teams. The
I
FUTBIN
mean,
rating will reflect that.
very few players from like October, November last the time until February, March when we have Future Stars and Foot Birthday. And
Definitely.
I think, I'm trying to think, I don't think there's been any player really. Goal Mbappe last year maybe had a little bit of a long cycle, but I don't think there's been many players that stand the test of time, so to say. I mentioned Mbappe there because it's a great example of sort of killing Mbappe with the FUTBIN rating, seen it in sort of all its glory, because I don't know if we can head on over there too.
We can indeed.
Mbappe, he's had 2 Player of the Month items, which is very rare for a player to do this. However, they are very slightly different in stat and in play style. Obviously, the 92, which has got 1 better pace, same shooting, 1 better dribbling, 1 better physical, very, very small stat changes. But the 91 is a 0.1 better FUTBIN rating than the 92. Why is that?
Yeah, so I think that's a really good example, and we'll get onto it very, very quickly. I think you've just seen there how we can use the FUTBIN rating filter on the list. So again, in here, what we'll have is all of the roles sort of laid out. So if you want to search specifically for a specific role in your team, say you're looking for a left back, full back, you can go in here, select that, and it will automatically show you those ratings for that specific role. So let's talk Mbappe then. I think that's a really good example. So we can go in here and we can see, he's ranked number 3, 96.6, and this 91 is a little bit higher. Now, again, this is where there will always be some people that disagree, and, you know, that's absolutely fine. But what we have right now, so obviously the major differences here are the Playstyle Plus. The 92 has Quick Step Plus, the 91 has Rapid Plus, and this one also has First Touch Base Playstyle, and the 92 has Power Shot Base Playstyle. Now, what's happening here is basically those playstyles on the 91 are being deemed to be slightly better than the playstyles on the 91, which I think we'd agree. You know, we would probably value First Touch Base over Power Shot Base, and you'd probably value, at least this year, Rapid Plus for a striker more than Quick Step Plus for a striker. So despite this Mbappe having slightly better stats, which will naturally give him a better rating in that sort of portion, those playstyles are what are making the difference very, very slightly on that 91.
I mean, when you were talking sort of about the roles there as well, with just using the FUTBIN rating in general, for players who maybe are looking at different sort of prices or different rarities of players, how easy is it, so to say, for players to go in there and be like, right, I've got 250k, I need to find out who is the best rated player for my price.
Absolutely.
Is that something players can do?
Absolutely. So I'll click on some of the filters that I've made earlier. This feels like, you know, it feels like an episode of Blue Peter, Rich. But this is one I made earlier. So this is something that you can now do with the FUTBIN rating. So say I have a budget. Let's change this a little bit. Let's go 250k. So I can put in here. Sorry, that's rating. This is the perks of doing it live. 250,000 coins. So we have that. We've inputted 250,000 coins. Now, this is only sorted across every single role. So we can see here for 250k, Alexia Putellas, Mariona Caldente, Salah, Mascherano, Wirtz. Certainly, players like Putellas, you would expect to be up there, but I can go a step further. Let's say I want to look specifically for... Let's go advanced forward. Okay,
let's go a cam. I want a cam. I want a playmaker.
You want a playmaker, right? So I can search cam playmaker, apply that, and then we can see specifically for cam playmaker. So you might have noticed that Putellas' rating actually changed. So I think she has a higher rating in another cam, right? Might be Shadow Striker, I'm not sure. But now we change it to see playmaker specifically. So I can see, Putellas, Mariona, Wirtz, Debinha. players that you would expect to be in there. But then you might get some, slightly cheaper options that you might not have considered. So, I think a good one might be this Xavi Simons,
Yeah.
coming in ahead of some players with a Playstyle Plus. So let's go in, let's have a little look as to why that might be. And then you see, playstyle wise, finesse shot, incisive, ticky, technical, first touch, has the roll plus,
Yeah.
good stats, 4-star skills, 3-star weak foot's a little bit lower, so that's probably why he's not right up there with the likes of Putelis and other players
And
like that.
I can already see people questioning now because it's a live item. Is that taken into consideration?
It will be. So when these players get those upgrades, ratings will be automatically adjusted. So let's say this
when they get it and not in preparation for this. This Xavi Simons hasn't already got a hidden stat of, well, he could end up being 87 rated, so let's bump up a little bit more. It's when it happens in game, that's when you'll see it.
Exactly.
Affect.
Yeah, because we didn't want to do it and say, let's make this Xavi Simons even more meta because he might get the rating, and then Spurs do a Spurs, and they don't win the games, they don't get the upgrades. So yeah, these upgrades they will come in as and when they are received in game. But just going back to sort of the player list, there's a ton more possibilities. So if you want to go through and search for silvers for the Silver Cup, you can now do that. So some of the most used players I've been seeing, certainly that El Yamik coming in above even some of the icons. But it also, what I really like is filters like this. They can be really good for finding potential evolution gems. I found this guy when I was just looking around at like cams. Look at the play styles, Rich.
Incisive, long ball, ticky, inventive, technical, first touch, long throw, what you need from your camp.
I mean, this is where I have a lot of fun with it, is just sort of finding those sort of hidden gems. This guy's 250 coins. You get, an Evo that is a little more lenient on like the playstyle requirement. Suddenly this guy, he's already ready. You just need the stat boost to go with this. So yeah, I think there's a lot of sort of fun things you can do with it, and I really do, encourage people to go and sort of have a good play around in the player list, specifically with FUTBIN rating, to find some hidden gems.
Yeah, and I also think obviously for players out there who are big traders, I think there's a lot of potential here. If you can get first on like maybe a new objective, or look at the new promo that's coming out, and you see maybe not one of those huge players, but that Xavi Simons perfect example, someone in that sort of 50, 60k mark, but it's really high up on the FUTBIN rating. You can use that information and knowledge. We're giving the information out there. Use that out how you will, whether it's in a team building perspective or in potentially trying to make some coins on the transfer market.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a trader at heart, so I've already been looking through some of the silvers, trying to find some undervalued ones that people might be discovering with FUTBIN rating now. So I think there's a lot of possibilities.
It feels wrong to do an extra time episode when we are looking at comments and we're looking at people's opinion, when the biggest takeaway when we posted this live just yesterday was Claudia Pina. Why is she so low? Why is she not number 1, number 2, number 3? She's one of the most used players, but she doesn't reflect that potentially in the rating. We've got this version, the cornerstones, and we've also got the gold version as well, which I know a lot of people were sort of talking about. Talk me through how Claudia Pina, when you see the rating there, 19th on inside forward, is at 33 on false 9.
Yeah.
You can see it all there. 125th on target forwards, 60th on advanced forward. How has this come to be? Because I know a lot of people are questioning.
Yeah, I think this is, if I'm being honest, it's probably the biggest outlier that you could maybe argue. And I think that it is important to say that, it's difficult for any sort of model or algorithm to not have outliers. Pina is probably one of the big ones, just based of, how many people are using her in game, how we know she performs. So let's have a little look here. So we're looking at sort of advanced forwards, and, she would be falling a little bit further down this list. She's, I think, 69th.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take, I've actually got a good example here that we can compare. So this Paulo Dybala Ultimate Screen, currently at 90.8, ranking number 27. We have already got a comparison set up here. So I think that it's a good comparison to have, because both have similar sort of pace, similar sort of shooting, both have the low driven plus play style.
Without the 99 stat as well. This is the base Dybala that just came out of the tin as part of the upgrade. Important to note.
Exactly. Yeah. So, we can sort of take this as a bit of an isolated comparison and try and say, right, why is Dybala coming in number 27 based on just the algorithm? We might argue that she might be better in game, and we'll get into why that might be. But why is there, a 2.5 difference in that rating? So, just going through things, let's start at the top. So let's look at skill moves and weak foot. Obviously, Dybala probably wins there a little bit in the 5-star skill moves department. Pina undoubtedly wins in the weak foot department. So as a combination, you'd probably say 4-star skills, 5-star weak foot, Rich? Better than 5-star, 3-star?
You would say so, yeah. I think so.
Good. So in that regard, Pina will rank a little bit higher. And I will say, we are going to be having features that will highlight this to you guys in the compare in the future. So you won't be having to sort of second guess, is 4-star, 5-star better than 5-star, 3-star? We'll be able to sort of tell that to you. So we'll go down and, we'll just go sort of stat group by stat group. So pace-wise, as we would expect, Dybala would win that battle, you'd argue, with 86 acceleration. Now, whether that feels right in game, I'll let you guys be the judge on, because personally, I think we'd all agree, Pina does not feel like 81 pace in game. She feels like 90 plus. Would we agree, Rich?
Yeah. I think so. I think that's one thing that we can't factor for is feel. Like a lot of people say, when Ronaldo gets his team of the season or team of the year item, he's one of the best players in the game because of how his aura, his feel. That's not a tangible thing. Like, we can't put that into a formula or a database. So there will be players that have that. I think another one's like Hullet or Vieira, like these players that are just like, wow, they're larger than life. They just take over the game.
Yeah, I mean,
we're trying to accommodate that as much as possible, but when you look at it statistically, Hullet isn't as good as a Marek Hamšík's scream item, for example, in a centre mid or a cam position.
Yeah, I mean, he has no passing play styles or defending play styles. So, but we know how, exactly, that aura in game plays out. Let's continue with this. So, just going very, very quickly through shooting, you'd probably say it's edging more towards Pina here. The positioning, finishing, probably more key stats. Long shots are good, but again, who's taking that many long shots this year?
Yeah.
Not as many. Volleys, again, +4 here on Dybala, but not as important as maybe a +2 on finishing. I'd say Pina wins that battle. Passing-wise, I think this is sort of one of the key ones. Again, Dybala, slightly better. Passing isn't weighted that highly for an advanced forward. It's mainly on the pace, shooting, dribbling, physical. But again, some of the key things in here, maybe the vision.
Yeah.
Maybe the curve.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the key ones from passing that Dybala will rank higher on. Dribbling-wise, again, I'll let you be the judge of this, but from a purely formula algorithm perspective, Dybala would rank higher here. Composure's obviously a big one.
Yep.
And there's a big increase there, but obviously agility, balance, again, how that feels in game, I'll let you be the judge. Pina, slightly smaller, obviously 5'3", a little bit more agile on those turns is obviously a factor. And then defending, we can gloss over. I don't think anyone's really sort of worrying too much about that. Heading accuracy would be the only one to consider.
Such a small differential.
Exactly. And then, physically, they're all around the same sort of area, jumping a little bit higher. So we could say from a stat perspective, it's pretty
very, very little between them.
Exactly. So, let's have a look then where that sort of 2.5 swing is coming from. We say, if Pina's got a little bit better skill moves weak foot and the stats are pretty even, you might argue Pina, at the moment, on the face of it, Rich, is the better card.
Yep.
So we'll go in now to the info section. We'll have a look through specifically the play styles, because I've seen a few comments, people saying Pina's play styles are just absolutely elite. There's no one that compares to her. Dybala does, to some degree. Both got finesse, both got dead ball, both got game changer, both got incisive, both got technical. Pina, tiki-taka. Dybala, inventive and first touch. You would argue, I would say, the combination of inventive and first touch maybe as good, probably not quite as good as base tiki.
Yeah.
But the overall play styles, you would argue,
as a package, probably edge Dybala. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that first touch inventive combo, I would rather have first touch inventive than just tiki and no first touch, for example. Again, that's where a little bit of personal preference comes in. You know, we would love to be able to have it where people can select their own sort of, play styles and things. And maybe that's something that we can look into in the future. But as a base here, we're saying that it's around about the same, maybe with a slight edge to Dybala. And obviously, playstyle plus, low driven, they both have the same points there.
Right now, if you just take it on those things that we're giving you, it's probably Dybala 20th, Pina 21st. There's very little between them.
Yeah. So then we come to probably the big swing here, and that's the role. And to be honest, it's pretty simple. Role suitability, I think, and again, people may agree, disagree. This is where, a lot of it comes into it. Dybala has advanced forward plus that we're comparing on here. Pina doesn't even have a plus.
Yeah.
So that is where probably
the differential comes.
A good amount of the differential. Again, there might be a little bit in those sort of key stats. That +5 acceleration on Dybala, that +9 composure on Dybala. Those little things there will be obviously small differentials in those key stats. But again, role suitability, it is a factor. You would rather have, Rich, I'm assuming, a player with advanced forward plus than not at all.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I think that in a nutshell, again, it's very difficult to explain every single weighting for every single stat, every single play style, but that in a nutshell kind of explains to people, at least briefly, sort of like the thinking behind FUTBIN rating when we're comparing.
And the one thing I do want to say as well, if you are using this and you find any big outliers that might have gone under the carpet or gone under the rug for us, please let us know, whether it's messaging Matt on social media, putting it in the comments of this video, tagging FUTBIN on social media. If you let us know, we can look at it, and we can, if it is something that we've actually missed, we'll try and sort it. Like it's not it's communal more than it is us saying this is this. Like, exactly. If you've got super strong opinions on players, or you found that one of the players maybe is high up on the FUTBIN rating, and actually once the general consensus has used that player and that they maybe don't perform to that level, we can change things around and over time really make this I'm not going to say perfect, but as comprehensive list and accurate as possible.
Exactly, Rich. That's what we're looking to do, and we will have probably in the coming week, when you see this, we're going to have a small survey as well that we're running live. You'll be able to see it on web on the right hand side here. It'll just be an open feedback survey on player pages, so you guys can go in and say exactly that, if a player is too high, too low on the FUTBIN rating scale.
And one more thing that I probably should have said at the top of the episode, but I'll say it now. If you are 30 minutes in and you're still with us, it wasn't just Matt saying, this is my opinion, this is what I think the stats should be, where we had some quite lengthy meetings earlier throughout this year, and it's been a continued conversation with some of the best players in the world, E-Premier League winners, FC Pro La Liga winners, real top-level pro players that have given their opinion, and through their opinion, through the community, through people working at FUTBIN, I think it's not just one person or a couple of people that said, this is the formula, this is what we're going to stick to. It really feels like it's been nurtured over quite a long period of time, and taking FC26 and the gameplay that we've got really into consideration as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this whole process started actually early on in FC25.
Yeah.
So obviously we've had to adjust everything for FC26, the different gameplay, but yeah, this is something that's been in the works for a long time now. So yeah, this is just the beta release as well, and we'll get on to very quickly towards the end here of some of the new features that are coming in the future with FUTBIN rating. But before we do that, Rich, I want to just
Do you want to talk
touch a little
Evos?
bit. Let's talk Evos. Perfect little segue. So we'll go to my Evos. I want to flex some of the Charlton boys to you all. So we do have FUTBIN rating compatibility on Evos. Right now, it is just a comparison to the base database. So you won't be comparing right now Evos with other Evos. That'll be coming in a future update. But you can see here kind of like where your Evos would be slotting in to the existing database. So I've got myself my little Matt Godden ole here. Advanced Forward Plus Plus ranks number 19 currently compared to the full database in
So
that
where would
role.
that sort of slot him in terms of?
Well, let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
So
19.
what do we say? He's a 92. So currently we're talking. I mean, it's pretty high up for advanced forward. I'll be honest. It is pretty high up. But you look at the play styles: finesse plus, rapid, technical, low driven, first touch, incisive pass,
4-star, 5-star,
4-star, 5-star, has the role plus plus. I'd say we're not doing bad here, Rich.
Yeah. Quick question. I'm sure it'll be something that's been sort of another frequently asked question. With players doing their Evos, for example, if I was to do some Barnsley Evos, which I've done, is League and Nation part of the it's not taken in consideration?
No, so we do take players on their face value. I think it's fair to say. So sort of like the linkability isn't taken
chemistry
into
links,
account.
etc.
Yeah, I mean, with how many Evos that we get now, I mean, think about like
millions.
The cornerstones Evo that gives was it two club points to get you one base chemistry. It would just make it really difficult, and I think how do you then rank French links compared to Brazil links? How do you rank PSG links compared to Barcelona links? And I think in that regard, it gets a little bit.
It's too tedious.
Tricky. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. And again, we wanted to make something here that maybe not on the first release you will all be able to understand, because appreciate there's a lot to take in here. But as we start putting out more explainer content, more features on site, you'll be able to sort of understand, okay, this is what we're looking for a striker now. We're looking for those acceleration, composure stats. We're looking for low-driven play style, finesse play style. Do we prioritize skill moves or weak foot for this specific role? Things like that will become more apparent over time. Should we talk about some of the features that we've got coming, Rich?
Yeah, I want to start with the roles, if possible, because I know that, as you said there, with the Dybala and Pina comparison, the roles play quite a large factor in where a rating lies. How can people find out what is the best role or role, sort of a bit more role information, I suppose?
Yeah, so we do have these role pages currently. So we are going to be adding some new data to these, where people will be able to see sort of what goes into each role. So again, this is only on a role basis. It's not on a focus basis. So we won't have different FUTBIN ratings for advanced forward attack compared to advanced forward versatile.
Yeah.
But what people will be able to do is sort of jump into an advanced forward page, and we're going to have a bit of a tier list almost of most important play styles, most important stats. Maybe as a start point, and then maybe in the future we'll go into skill moves, weak foot. Maybe allow you guys to actually say, what do you prefer? I know myself. I don't really skill as much, Rich, so I'm probably valuing 5-star weak foot more than anything here. So again, this is something that we'll be able to do to sort of better explain on a role basis to you guys sort of what matters most. That specifically on the roles pages, we'll have that.
Yeah, and I think it's quite important really when sort of players are looking to get the most out of, I think is the best way of saying the FUTBIN rating on well, if this is how it's done and these are the stats that matter, how can I best get the player in there? Not just from the ranking, but actually learning a little bit how and why someone like Mia Hamm is the best advanced forward or the best inside forward at right wing, etc.
Exactly.
I know we've got a few more updates as well in the future with Evos and sort of people wanting to get sort of future features, shall we say. Do you want to just list a few of those off, what we've got coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with Evo Builder, and we'll take an example here of this Appender Evo. So if we go back here, so we go to Evo Builder, what we'll basically be able to have in here is for every Evo available to you, we'll be able to show you how much FUTBIN rating will be given from each different evolution. So you'll basically be able to have a small indicator here. Maybe it's a +1, +2, +3.5. You'll be able to sort by them. So you can, for every single step of your Evo path, be able to say, right, this gives the most meta upgrade. This gives the most meta upgrade. So that should help a lot of people in sort of going through and deciding. So again, it's going to be, tricky to understand at first, completely understand. We might have to have some sort of like role selection here of, am I building into a poacher, an advanced forward,
Yeah.
a target forward? And then that'll adjust the ratings accordingly. But yeah, it'll help out a lot. So instead of seeing sort of sorted by newest, you'll be able to sort by most meta or highest FUTBIN rating. And that'll obviously spit out things like this El Capitan Evo, who I know a lot of people are enjoying at the moment. So
Yeah.
that's one thing on the Evo Builder specifically. If we go over to... Sorry, Rich, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, obviously you talked about what people are liking there and sort of the community, and I think the community Evos are something that's super important as well, and that will feature down the line with the FUTBIN rating also.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, I think we actually went through this on a recent pod. You can actually go over to the community hubs and see for each league, each club, each nation, sort of what are the most saved evolutions. That can now be pivoted into a most meta or highest FUTBIN rating evolution. So we're probably going to have something specifically for that, because I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to see that. But that'll be coming in a future update as well, that we're really excited about. We want to be, at the end of the day, maybe rewarding people for finding those most or best evolutions in specific roles, specific positions. I think we've now got the ability to do that.
Yeah, I think what we're offering feels quite comprehensive, and it will be coming not so long in the distant future. All these updates. One of the biggest things on FUTBIN is obviously the squad builder and the squad building element of the website and the database. Will there be a somewhere in the future maybe where I can say, okay, build me the most meta team for 250k?
Absolutely. So, there's a bunch of squad builder updates that we're working on at the moment. The first thing will be when you add a player in, just displaying the FUTBIN rating on it. Obviously, we're still in beta, so some of these features are still to come. But yeah, you'll be able to see on here that this Maradona has a 95 rating as an advanced forward that is currently selected. We'll also be able to recommend you players based on FUTBIN rating, so we'll have some sorting mechanics in here. Again, if we use the light bulb, currently it only recommends based on chemistry. You'll be able to then also have a recommend based on highest FUTBIN rating, which we might have as default. And then, as you say, Rich, one of the things that we're really excited about is this sort of builder squad feature that we can now do with FUTBIN rating. So all of those coming in future updates. It's going to be a busy few weeks and a couple of months here in the FUTBIN team, but it's to say there's a lot planned here, and it'll be a good time to get excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what obviously we're in the beta now, but what's been launched and how we are sort of seeing it being received, I think there's a lot of people out there who are really enjoying it and sort of seeing where their players are stacking up and how good their players actually are in the grand scheme of things. Before we finish this video, is there anything else that you want to talk about FUTBIN rating, or do we think we've covered all bases?
I've had a long list of notes, and I think we've hit most of them. The number one thing for me would be, feedback is absolutely welcomed here
Yeah.
here at FUTBIN. So we will get that survey live, but don't wait for that. If there are players that you think are just ridiculously high or low in the FUTBIN rating, you can at me on Twitter, MattFutTrading. Go direct to the FUTBIN accounts, be it on X, Instagram, TikTok, even. If you're on YouTube Shorts, get in there. Let us know. But yes, feedback is 100% going to make this, the most comprehensive rating system out there. And yeah, I think we're in a good spot already, Rich, to be honest. But we want to make it even better.
Yeah, we certainly do. Thank you, I'll say as well, to Matt and the team. I know you've been working on this for a very long time, and it's great to see it live. As again, let us know any players, any thoughts, any feelings, opinions on the FUTBIN rating. Let us know down below or on any of the social media that Matt just talked about. We'll be back next week for another podcast, a full-length episode of the podcast with a very special guest, and I'm sure we'll be talking all things FUTBIN rating on the brand new promo that he's launching very, very soon. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. And we hope you enjoy the brand new FUTBIN rating.